isn't this just fantastic? Captain's log, subdates 2102 at 8.7. The new engineer warrant officer first class, Crumble, arrived a day early, so we've rushed to ensure that they can get to work and get that blasted efficiency up from 44%, especially as I want to hunt more chameleon gecko freaks. Right, okay, so I hadn't planned on doing an Amberlynn Reid video until Christmas, because I thought of doing a 2021 review of her year, much like last year's. But something cropped up that was so fascinating to me, as a fellow creator, that I thought, yes, let's take a moment, poke a few holes, have a little giggle, because we could all do with that from time to time. No, I'm not going to make a fat joke. Those jokes write themselves, and I don't need to say them. With a video announcement that has since been deleted, which is much sadness on my part, I'd very much have liked to have used it. Amberlynn Reid announced that she got a Patreon. She also announced on Instagram and OnlyFans, although I'm not entirely sure if that's true or not. I don't want to go looking, okay? Understandably, everyone in the comments, everyone on Kiwi Farms, hi, will have undoubtedly had a field day over this because of one key aspect of Amberlynn Reid that she has held on to for a long time. She mentioned it in a very recent video actually, that she was financially secure, she has savings, she has her own home, she's doing well. Years ago she flexed that she made 10 grand a month from YouTube, so I'm sure many people were then mocking her when they realised clearly that well has dried up. I myself noticed only one ad on one video. With her particular content, I had considered using AdBlock, because every 3 minutes there was an ad. Granted, it wasn't exactly timed, it tells me she just slaps them wherever to get as many in as possible, and since she had a dedicated following of 99.999% haters, I feel like I was having an aneurysm saying that. It's understandable she'd want to get the most out of them, or to quote one of her haters, living in her head rent-free, which is true, they do, but now they have the added perk. They have a perk to be a part of her growing community as a budding writer. Yes, you all heard me correctly, it is in fact right here on her Patreon homepage. She's a writer, everyone. Does that mean I am? I mean, I script most of my videos in note form, and I have a collection of notebooks that are actually full of video notes, because I can't be bothered to go and throw them in the bin, or burn them, which I think might be useful, eventually. As I'm getting a little derailed here with my own giddy excitement at Amberlynn Reid having a Patreon, perhaps we should take a moment just to assess, perhaps, why she decided now, at 185,000 subscribers, to start up a Patreon. And to do this, we're going to reference her social blade. It is a very important aspect of understanding roughly the views part. Earnings, not so much. But as a fellow creator, I can guess roughly where it should be sitting. That's not an appeal to authority, I promise. It's more, I know roughly how wrong they are from my own statistics. As you can see on subscriber growth, Amberlynn Reid does reasonably well. She should be very proud of that. She's had a few blips here or there and a bit of slow growth. Her peak was back in January of 2019, when numbers were more accurate. But the view part is where we see the issue. It doesn't stay consistent at all. But then, with this in mind, and the complete lack of ads I noticed on content I watched about 4 videos by the way, one can surmise she is not getting anywhere near as much attention as she used to. Now yes, January, February, March are arguably the driest months of the year, especially for ads, and if one has done their taxes, chances are their bank's a little thinner than it ordinarily was. Spoken from experience. Amber herself has referenced in videos that she does put money aside explicitly to pay taxes and to save. I hard X to doubt this, because I think her Patreon was a scam, something which is supported by many others that have looked at this, assessed it and commented and thought, no, this isn't right. It used to be, by the way, because Amber uploaded almost every single day. She was a very consistent and prolific uploader. Last year that changed a lot with a certain health scare and her inability to commit to Vlogmas, which did surprise me because December is really good, okay? But if she's lost ads, yeah, there's a chance here that there's a reason she quit. I wonder what it is. Also, she's had to deal with the fact that Nikocado Avocado has been shading her very well in his own videos, and she doesn't handle criticism very well. She pretends to deflect it, but in reality, when one of her own peers is railing on her for her poor decisions and bad behavior and mannerisms, yeah, it's going to hit you pretty hard. Almost as hard as trying to remember which person you're in love with. So perhaps now we should look at the perks and the tiers for Patreon. Now this is where I know she's not only a Patreon boomer, but where she is clearly trying to weed out the supporters and the haters. Because she only has 2 tiers, $20 and $77. $20 is a top dollar patron on my server. Below that you have 10, 5 and 1. This is a ridiculous amount to have for your lowest tier. And you have 77 as well, which you say is for everything from the other tier, but just 77 is a wonderful number. I have a sneaky suspicion the reason you put 77 is because that's the cost for your regular at the Cheesecake Factory, not including the tip. So for $20, what do you get? You get access to personal Q&As randomly, so whenever she feels like it, or is bored because Becky's not giving her enough attention. 3 times a month, you get access to something I have written, whether it be poetry, a quote, journal entry, "Dear Diary, I ate a sandwich and 3,500 calories worth of chips." Short stories, "There once was a man from Nantucket," etc. Guided journal prompts. I would like to see her journal entries, to be honest, in all seriousness, because as everyone knows, she loves journals. She collects them. It's like an addict to something. You just have to keep buying the same thing in different designs. All the gear and no idea, I guess, is the term. Because she's illiterate, okay? But we'll continue with the tiered rewards. Guided journal prompts, questions about yourself, scenarios, etc. That sounds like roleplay. Reasons to write posted every single day. If this is anything like last year's Vlogmas, pressing X to doubt. One-on-one communication, now that's the draw. That's the moneymaker. Because she doesn't engage with the haters, does she? For $20, she would have to find some hardcore haters. And I can think of one place where there are plenty of them who might well chip in just to tell you what they really think about you. Send me a private message, let's talk. I will reply to every single message, and that's your mistake. That's where you made the mistake. This is how I know you're a Patreon boomer. Reward tiers are so simple, and you had to cock it up from the offset. Now granted, you cocked this up long before you had a Patreon. You are the farmer of your own community. You cultivate, you nurture it, you grow it. And you've grown it to 185,000 subscribers. That is amazing for somebody who never engages with her community. Somebody who does not work with them. Somebody who simply makes her content and then goes on to one of those YouLive accounts, streams and ignores half her chat. Let's not forget here, for you to say my name, someone had to donate money to you. Thank you, Banterbus, by the way. The final one. Top patrons shout-outs at the beginning of each month in a YouTube video. More benefits will be added eventually. Oh, and ad-free content. That sounds amazing. Although chances are it's ad-free at the moment anyway, because you might be demonetized. Something which many people have been pushing for quite some time. Now, Zachary Michael did take the plunge. He took the plunge. He donated $20. And he kinda had to get his money back because 24 hours later, 48 hours later, however many hours later it was, you deleted your Patreon. That reeks of scam. It really does. Zachary Michael has managed to get his 20 back, I believe, but the fact that you got rid of it so fast tells me that either the haters got to you really quickly, or this backfired on you when you read the comments. Oh, and in subsequent videos when people commented underneath that you couldn't even commit to a Patreon. When the well starts drying up, you have to turn to alternate avenues for revenue. Patreon was one of them. I guess you need to work on OnlyFans then. And no, I am not paying for that. Somebody's already made the comment that a fourth chin is developing. I don't care how many chins you have. You are fundamentally not my type and I'm not paying for that. Ever. Chances are it would just be you doing mukbangs anyway. This amused me. It amused me because of how fast you acted, but also the fact that others did give you money and you did not give them what they paid for. It also tells me you looked at the system and set it to charge up front. A system that was introduced not so long ago. A system I refused to introduce on my own Patreon because I didn't see the point in doing it. The word scam is apt. And at this time of year, don't you do your taxes? Anyway, as we're done, I want to know what you all think about this. It tickled me. I hope it tickled you all too. I'm going to link a video by Sinatra and Zachary Michael. You should go subscribe to them both. If I don't see you on Twitch tonight for some trucking maybe, I hope you'll have a fantastic day and thank you all for listening.